Marvel Studios have been on a winning streak lately, even greater than usual. They had the 3 biggest comic book movies worldwide of 2017. 2018 was off to a flying start with the Black Panther, breaking all kinds of records left and right. And Avengers Infinity War is tracking to be their biggest opener yet. Marvel's biggest worry at this stage is if the movie can deliver on the hype. Meanwhile, over at DC, they have other worries. Following the disastrous reception to Justice League, newly appointed DC on Film head honcho Walter Hamada has his work cut out for him. In this editorial, I'll cover Joss Whedon leaving Batgirl, and what might have gone down behind the scenes to facilitate that happening. Then I'll cover the rumors that Matt Reeves might be thinking of leaving Batman, before looking into the director's gain for Flashpoint and other assorted news and tidbits. Joss Whedon was first announced as the director for Batgirl on March 30th of 2016. The project came out of left field, but Joss Whedon, the man behind Dollhouse, Firefly, Serenity, Buffy, and the man who made Scarlett Johansson's Black Widow a star, after her underwhelming first appearance in Iron Man 2, seemed like the perfect fit for it. Shortly after his Batgirl was announced, word got out that Snyder had allegedly asked him to help out writing new scenes for Justice League, and then later to help him finish up the movie. That was what the Spin Machine claimed anyway, and we all know how Justice League turned out. On February 22nd of 2018, it was announced that Whedon was leaving Batgirl, and by implication, the entire DC operation. He told Variety that Batgirl is such an exciting project, and Warner/DC such collaborative and supportive partners that it took me months to realize I didn't really have a story. This, of course, is pure and utter spin, and not even remotely convincing spin at that. There are those who think that Batgirl was never more than a ruse, a cover story designed to hide the real reason Whedon was brought in was to fix Justice League from day one. That is, at the very least, partially accurate. What I have heard from our source is that Joss Whedon was indeed brought in by Warner to replace Zack Snyder on Justice League, and with the understanding that he would also replace Snyder as the lead architect of DC on Film going forward after Justice League. And one of the movies Whedon apparently was adamant about doing was in fact Batgirl, a movie he had been developing the story for since the middle of 2016. So why didn't it happen? In retrofitting Justice League, he was bound by the framework Snyder already had laid out, and he was bound even further by conflicting studio notes. What is more, while he begged and pleaded with them to push the movie back, they would not budge, and insisted it be finished in time for its originally scheduled November release date. When the movie subsequently fell flat on its face upon release, so did the prospect of Whedon helming the DC universe on film afterwards. The prospect of him directing Batgirl hung by a thread too. For Warner, Justice League aside, the thought of Joss Whedon directing Batgirl in the Me Too era was not an enticing one. Let's be clear, Whedon hasn't broken any laws, there are no claims that he has harassed anyone, and there have been no allegations of him ever having abused his power or position to gain sexual favor, but he is divorced. The divorce would appear to have been a bitter one, and his ex-wife saw fit to broadcast to the world that he had cheated on her while they were still married. With the lines as blurred as they now are, Warner were suddenly much more reluctant about having Whedon associated with a female-centric project. But Whedon was by all accounts reluctant about working with DC as well. Marvel's meddling with Age of Ultron was difficult for him, and that was nothing next to the meddling he experienced on Justice League. And this, in no small part, contributed to his also wanting to leave DC behind. As a side note, Whedon has been seen at numerous Marvel events as of late, so it is not outside the realm of possibility that he might return to their fold in the not-too-distant future. So what does Whedon leaving mean for the public confidence in the DC brand? Not a lot. Quite a few audiences did not like the Whedon retrofitted Justice League, and would have preferred Snyder's cut instead. Furthermore, Whedon's Batgirl wasn't massively hyped or anything, so it being in limbo isn't going to do much to shake the public confidence in DC more than it already was. There is a director DC fans pin their hopes on though, and that would be the announced Batman helmer, Matt Reeves. When Affleck dropped out of directing the solo Batman movie, large swaths of the fanbase freaked out and didn't calm down until Matt Reeves came aboard to save the day. With him on board, fans could relax. We would be getting a good Batman movie or even a Batman trilogy, one way or the other. Ben Affleck, who by all accounts won't be involved, still keeps stringing everyone along, so fans can't come to terms with Jake Gyllenhaal being Batman instead. So the stability of Reeves being there to deliver is all the more important. However, the solo Batman movie isn't scheduled to be released for years yet. A lot can happen between now and then. Meanwhile, John Campea, who has broken a number of DC scoops, most of which came to pass, revealed that he sat on information that would cause DC fans to lose their minds, and not in a good way. When running through possible bad scenarios, a number of people landed on Reeves dropping out of Batman as being the worst thing that possibly could happen to DC, and so the rumor got going. This was casually dismissed by a Warner insider. That this rumor did not come from within Warner, but was started by fans imagining what Campea could have been referring to, and how casually it was denied, suggests that Reeves isn't going anywhere anytime soon. If Warner had come out in full force, with a press release denying it, that would have been cause for concern. A lot may still happen going forward, but at the time of making this video, rumors of Reeves leaving can be traced back to fan speculation, which means that if Campea is to be believed, there are other bad news still to come. But things aren't all bad, as new filmmakers have actually joined the DC fold. While DC may have lost Whedon, they have now officially gained not one, but two directors for the Flash movie Flashpoint. John Francis Daley and Jonathan Goldstein have been in talks for quite some time already, but now the dotted line has been signed, and it is official that the writers and directors of Vacation now will be handling Flashpoint directing duties. If this is where you raise your glass in celebration, or down a bottle to drown your sorrows, I really can't tell. The much maligned Vacation is no one's favorite movie, but they also wrote Spider-Man Homecoming, and that turned out alright. So was Vacation the fluke where the movie they both wrote and directed was messed up by executive meddling? Or was Spider-Man Homecoming the fluke, where Marvel's notes elevated their script to something better than they initially wrote? Are these good or bad news? Could go either way. They are a left field choice, and that has worked before. Of course, there are also plenty of cases where that didn't work. Time will tell on that. And there are more tidbits making the rounds. There have been Aquaman test screenings, and these apparently have gone down well. That is further confirmation of previous Aquaman reports indicating that there is nothing to report. Everything has been going well since James Wan stepped on board. By all accounts, the movie is as standalone as Wonder Woman, and if audiences haven't soured too much on the character and universe, it might turn out another win. Shazam is filming, and a standalone Joker movie is an aggressive development. As covered over on our sister channel, Midnight's Edge After Dark, Tom Cruise is even rumored to be in the running for Hal Jordan in the upcoming Green Lantern reboot. For all we know, Walter Hamada may yet write in the DC ship, or he may not, because events utterly outside of his control may have some major repercussions for his DC operation. Let me first state that I do not know what news Campea was referring to. He could very well be talking about something else entirely. I do, however, see that there is a corporate disaster in the making, one which, if it comes to fruition, may have major repercussions for DC on film. The kind of repercussions that may lead to all projects not scheduled to film in the intermediate future being cancelled. There is a very real chance that the entire current iteration of the DC cinematic universe may end up being scrapped. What is more, depending on how things play out, it may end up impossible to reboot and launch another DC cinematic universe. Check back soon for my next editorial on how At&T's acquisition of Time Warner may end up falling apart, and how detrimental that could prove for the future of a DC cinematic universe. In the meantime, let me know your thoughts on all of this in the comments.
If you like this video, then please hit that subscribe button. Due to recent changes made by YouTube, We also encourage all of our subscribers, both new and old, to please hit that bell icon next to the subscribe button as well, so you will be notified when new videos are uploaded. Be sure to check back for news and analysis of the happenings and corporate politics behind the scenes of your favorite genre movies, as well as explorations of your favorite characters and their backgrounds and context here at Midnight's Edge.